Hello everyone, welcome. I'm just checking whether we're live or not. Says we're live now. Yes, we're live. That's great. Okay, so we're live on YouTube. We're about to go live on Instagram, and then hopefully Charlie will be joining us very soon. Stories live. Let's pop that. Okay. Hello, everyone. So we're live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube. It's 105-day wait is finally over. We are here in Bahrain for the opening round of the Formula One season, and actually, I can't wait. I think it's going to be so exciting. Okay, there we go. I think we're back now. Hello, everyone. Let's just check we're live on YouTube as well. Let's just check that's right. Yeah. Okay, we're all good. We're back. And Charlie is about to join us. Hello, Charlie. It's time for qualifying.
Oh, lost Jack there for a moment.
Hello, Charlie. It's time for qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix. 105 days we've been waiting for this moment. It's finally here. Joined by Charlie Tolhurst, we're going to take you through all of the action. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. And Charlie, it's a day that everyone has been waiting for 105 days. It's finally here.
Oh, it is great to be donning my F1 kit today. Got Mercedes. What a weekend. We've got so much to talk about today. I've actually put my prediction for the Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying. You can view that on Twitter as I speak. I have already uploaded what I think the top five is going to be. There is lots to talk about, but I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic qualifying session.
I'm sure it is. And by the way, if you're watching, keep those questions coming in. We are going to get through them. We are going to answer them. People are saying hello, hello, hello. Yes, hello. We're going to get through them. We get through them as quickly as we can. So the first qualifying session gets underway in about 22 minutes' time. It's quite windy at the Bahrain International Circuit this evening. Highs of 30 degrees, Charlie. We saw highs of 38 degrees for FP3 earlier on this morning. 30 degrees. It's going to be a warm one for those drivers out there.
It's very humid tonight. I'm expecting tyres are going to have to be very important. Of course, drivers don't use too many tyre sets up because obviously if you know how it all works, the fastest time each of the drivers start, or the fastest time each of the drivers set in Q2 is actually the tyre they have to start the race on. So if they set the fastest time on say, the medium tyre in Q2, but then they set the time that is slightly slower in Q3, they have to start on the tyre that they were set the fastest time on in Q2. It's a bit complicated, but that's how it works with qualifying.
We've obviously got the new tyres this year, Charlie. At this event, we have the C2, the C3, and the C4 tyres available. So the C2 will be the hardest of the compounds, the C3 the medium, and the C4 will be the softs. However, I don't think they're going to touch the hards this weekend. Like with what time does the race get underway? Local time tomorrow. I think it's about 7 p.m.
4 o'clock, I think, the race tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's an evening race. I don't think the hards would be the ones that the teams want to go for. I think they'd want to be starting on the mediums.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be looking at the mediums is what a lot of the drivers are going to want to start the race on because of the durability. I think the softs is going to be, do you get a good start and then struggle with long run pace? It's a bit of an issue.
I agree, Charlie. It depends. If we get an early safety car tomorrow, then we potentially look at it, don't we, as possibly being a two-stop race. If we don't get the early safety car, it could potentially be a one-stop.
Yeah, I think it's very clear that we are going to see, looking at the data, we're going to potentially see lots of probably two stops. A one stop is going to be very difficult. I know Pierre Gasly, I think, eked the one stop out last year, I think. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether the teams and the drivers can eke out the strategy tomorrow very effectively.
So let's talk about the pace, Charlie. Red Bull blitzing the practice sessions, topping all three practice sessions, but it's only practice.
Verstappen was really rapid. I think he was 7/10 quicker than anyone in FP3. I was just that Red Bull has got the RB16. Have Red Bull improved the rear instability of that car from last year? It's rapid, that thing, around Bahrain. I don't know how. Verstappen was really strong.
It looks. I can't work out whether Mercedes is sandbagging or that is their true pace. We're going to find out in the next half an hour or so in qualifying, because that's when the engines are turned up to max. We know on Friday they were running a lower engine setting than Honda were at Red Bull, so that explains why they weren't miles off the pace on Friday. They seem to have gained, don't they? They seem to have really gained on what they had in testing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how all the teams are going to get on, because this is a big session for everyone, and it's going to be whether any of the teams have made inroads this year. I think the team you're going to want to look out for in qualifying today is going to be the two McLarens of Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. They
look lightning fast, don't they, Charlie? With just 18 minutes to go until the green light goes. So the light goes green at the end of the pit lane. The excitement in Bahrain. There are a few fans there today as well. The grandstand's partially full. Obviously, all of the fans socially distanced, 2 meters apart. It's great to see the fans back though in the stands, Charlie.
Oh wow! It's so great. Bahrain's going to have fans. Oh, I hope we get that at Silverstone this year. Looking at what we're doing with the roadmap, it looks likely we're going to get fans to the British Grand Prix this year, and I think that would be such a welcome return for Lewis Hamilton, and I'm sure for many other F1 drivers as well.
Let's talk about Silverstone, Charlie. So we've heard in the statement from the FIA today that tomorrow morning, well, we think it will be before the race tomorrow, they are going to propose which events will trial the sprint races. We're hearing from our people in Bahrain that it's going to be Silverstone, Monza, and Brazil if we get to go there. What do you think, Charlie? Do you think they should leave Silverstone as normal and try it on Portimao, a potential new circuit, or are you happy with them trying it on the high-speed circuits?
This is an interesting one. It's going to be political for a lot of people, but I think the sprint races are going to probably be better on the circuits that have higher downforce, because on low downforce tracks, like Monza, it's just a bit I can't see that happening. The thing is, though, with circuits that have a lot more corners, it could really mean that we have potentially some good racing. And I think it's a very difficult one. I mean, I'm not an expert when it comes to something like this, but I would think sprint races in Formula One are very questionable. It depends whether you want the financial side of things to be good, or whether you want the cars to be great. It's difficult, to be honest, to predict what is going to happen with that.
Yeah, it's I think it's one of those things. Until we try it, we don't know. Would you agree, Charlie?
Yeah.
So we've just seen Max Verstappen walk into the Red Bull garage to climb into his RB16. About 15 minutes ago, they still had the floor off on Lewis Hamilton's W12. I think that's been put on now. So clearly they weren't happy with something from the FP3 session, Charlie, and looks like they've made some tweaks to the W12.
They could have done. I think the floor might have been slightly tweaked. I think Mercedes are looking very much at improving their floor. Remember, if you look at the testing, I think Red Bull were using a slightly higher rake design than Mercedes were, which I think that was helping them eke out that little bit more performance.
Yeah, I agree, Charlie. Tomorrow we're expecting wind all day, wind all day. That doesn't favour the guys at Mercedes. We saw in testing, Charlie, they had a lot of problems with the wind, especially up at turn 13. But my main concern is, Charlie, if we get a sandstorm, where is the line that is actually too dangerous to race?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
We're not going to get a threat of rain tomorrow. 32 degrees. I don't think it's going to rain.
No, it's going to be. It will be a very warm race. Certainly, track temperature. It's going to be humid.
If we get the sandstorm, I think obviously it's a night race. So visibility, well, with the lights, the visibility is very good. But if you get a sandstorm, I think the crossing line, Charlie, of danger is when the visibility gets extremely poor that the drivers are struggling to see. And then I think if you're Michael Massey, you have a bit of a situation on your hands, and it might get to the point where you need to throw a red flag or something. Hopefully, we're not going to get any red flags like we did last year. Obviously, many of you are aware of an extremely long delay to last year's Bahrain Grand Prix. Hopefully, we're not going to get that this year. However, Charlie, would you like a safety car to throw it into the mix tomorrow?
I think it would be good to get a safety car out. I think the Aston Martin Vantage may have to potentially go out if there was an incident. As I said earlier on live on Gateway 97.8 live on radio, if you notice on the exit of turn 3, they've added some gravel traps in to stop massive airborne accidents from happening or stop cars smashing into the barriers. I think it's going to be interesting. If there is runoff there, they should be fine. But I'm not going to rule out a safety car tomorrow. I'm going to say it's probably around the 60 to 70%.
They've added tyres there, Charlie, as well. But equally, I do think even if you move the barrier back a bit and you add tyres, the speed of Royman's accident, I don't think even if you had the barriers 30 metres back, I think he'd have still gone into them and had a big accident. I don't. They've made safety improvements, but I don't think the safety improvements they've made. They're what they can make without, because what you realise is there's actually a stream that runs behind the barrier there. So they've moved it back as far as they can possible. But if they want to move it back any further, they have to cover up the stream, and then you're talking about millions of pounds for that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think the barriers are very much going to be dependent, and we just got to see how they get on.
That's better. There you go. Yeah, sorry, Charlie. What were you saying?
I think moving the barriers back might be the best option, because if you see what Roman crashed last year, it was literally like something straight out of the 70s. It was something where a car goes through the barrier.
Chinese fight. I think he's about to say. Were you about to say a car goes through the barrier, Charlie? Froze a bit.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing Fernando Alonso, Charlie, return to the Alpine garage. His first qualifying session in a little while, in a couple of years. As he takes his hand sanitizer, Charlie, at least he's COVID secure going to the
Sounds like Fernando loves it. His hand sanitizer there, like Ted Kravitz loves his skin.
It was interesting, Charlie, with the interview of Max Verstappen yesterday after practice. I know he's got a mask on, but you could see there was a beaming smile underneath that mask.
Yeah, I think Verstappen looks like he's going to be it looks like he's going into this very pumped up. He looks very confident. I think Verstappen's got this. I mean, as for my predictions, well, my predictions for qualifying are going to be very interesting because I have actually put Lewis Hamilton to get pole position this afternoon in Bahrain. I think looking at where we are right now, this is going to be a very interesting session. I have put my predictions down. Hamilton pole, Verstappen second, Bottas third, Norris fourth, Perez fifth is my top 5.
I'm super excited for this session, Charlie. It's 10 minutes away. We're almost there. But yeah, it's...
Jack, Jack, have you got your predictions ready?
Yeah, I have. If I'm honest, Charlie, if Mercedes can't improve, Verstappen's going to take pole.
That's your prediction, Verstappen on pole. If Mercedes don't get around their issues.
But I do think we haven't seen the true pace of that Mercedes car yet.
It's going to be interesting. The Mercs definitely struggled with their setup, I think, a lot over the weekend. Especially, I think, during FP2, they had some slight issues with their setup. When I listened to an interview between Hamilton and Bottas, they didn't seem very happy with their car at all.
Yeah, Charlie, you know it's getting real when the lights come on at the Bahrain International Circuit and the fans, socially distanced, of course, start to fill the grandstand along the pit straight. Are you expecting to see a red flag in this session, Charlie? Bear in mind that it's the first session of the year. We probably will get a technical difficulty at some point.
This is difficult because, unlike Australia, this is an easier circuit to drive.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Could potentially be interesting. And I think it could really treat us into a very good showing.
By Aston Martin, Charlie, their first qualifying ever. We haven't seen their true pace yet either, I don't think. They've had a few issues. McLaren, we're just looking at their garage now. They look nice and relaxed, the McLaren mechanics. I think they know that they've got quite a good car underneath them, McLaren.
McLaren looks strong. I think when I talk about Aston, the AMR 21, I wasn't impressed with their practice actually. Vettel really struggling. Lance Stroll only managed to get 8 fastest, which isn't bad, but Stroll definitely much better in that car and much more comfortable than Sebastian Seb at the moment, who really needs to get his act together if he wants to have a very strong qualifying.
Exactly, Charlie. It's we've been saying it. It's 7 minutes now. It's nearly time for qualifying in Bahrain. We're so excited. We can't wait. We've said the Red Bulls look strong, but the Mercedes, Charlie, we've just seen some pictures of them. They look quite calm. Are they hiding something under their masks on this evening in Bahrain? We're about to find out. We've just seen some practice highlights of Nikita Mazepin spinning and Kimi Raikkonen becoming the first car to end up in the barriers in FP2. It was but what about Aston Martin, Charlie, and Alpine? A lot of rookies. We're going to see some mistakes in this qualifying session for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I think Yuki Tsunoda is going to be the one to watch out for this afternoon or this evening. He looks really strong, 20 years old, one of the youngest Japanese drivers ever in the sport, and he looks really strong. I think Yuki Tsunoda could... I'll be really shocked if Yuki Tsunoda can make Q3 this afternoon. I will feel very proud for this young man from Japan.
They look more than capable of making it, Charlie. But the first time we trialled 1 hour practice sessions on Friday, I have to say, Charlie, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it made the practice session much more interesting. The 90-minute program condensed into an hour. We didn't have that half an hour where we get no track action. I thought it was a really smart move from Formula One.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better than the 1 hour and a half sessions. I thought they were a bit boring, but the 1 hour sessions condensed the running a little bit more. And I think as well, looking at where we are right now with the sessions, I do actually think that they're very much a lot better to enjoy and they're more entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Right, Charlie, it's time for qualifying. Yes, it's round one of the 2021 FIA Formula One World Championship, and we're here in Bahrain. The 2021 Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix. It's time for qualifying. The 105-day wait is finally over, and Formula One is back. We're going to sack here then. Bahrain is situated between the Qatari Peninsula and the northeastern coast of Saudi Arabia, which is connected by the 25-kilometer King Fahd Causeway. In 2020, both the Grand Prix outer circuit layout were used for the Bahrain double header. And let's take a look at the circuit itself, though. 5.412 kilometers, 3.363 miles, top speed of 340 kilometers an hour. We've got 3 DRS zones and an elevation of 17.3 meters. The race lap record of 1:31. Let's take the action zone, turn 1, 2016, as Bottas gets it all wrong and slams into the side of Lewis Hamilton. And then we go back to 2014, where we had that amazing battle between the two Mercedes. Hamilton getting the lead at turn 4 on the way. He switched the route at turn 4 and got the job done at turn 7. And then last year, then Kvyat and Stroll ended up upside down, and he was out of the race. It looks to be very, very exciting, Charlie. Qualifying is just 3 minutes away, but the tyres this weekend, we have the C4, the C3, and the C2, the soft, the medium, and the hard. And obviously the wets and intermediates, if they're needed, I don't think they're going to be needed this weekend. We're under the lights in Bahrain. I'm joined by Charlie Tolhurst. So it's time for qualifying, Charlie.
3 minutes to get 3 minutes until green light. Wow. This is going to be a session that we're all going to be all looking forward to. I can't wait to see what's happening. And yeah, close. I reckon this is going to be interesting, because I'm not sure how all the teams and drivers can get on, but we are looking very forward to 18 minutes of great action in Q1.
Yeah, so the air temperature, 30 degrees centigrade air temperature. There's a wind speed of 16.5 kilometers an hour coming from the southwest of Bahrain. So it's traveling northeast. It's the wind's quite strong, actually, Charlie, today in the evening under the lights in Bahrain. We actually need to get the session finished by 8:30 though tonight, because it is Earth Hour, and the Bahrain International Circuit are taking part in that. All of the lights at the Bahrain International Circuit will go out for an hour between 8:30 and 9:30 in Formula One's protest to save the environment. You can join us by tweeting us #Bahrain GP, and we will pick up all of the comments and we will discuss them. So yeah, we actually have a comment coming in now. Yeah. Yeah, and Valtteri Bottas, Charlie, did describe his Mercedes car as undrivable. What do you think about that? Is Charlie still there? See, he switched his camera off.
Yeah, sorry, hello. I am having issues setting up a studio in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
I've managed now to get the Formula One timing screens up to keep you posted on all of this news. And as far as I know, this is going to be very, very interesting. And 1 minute to go now until we are ready to race, or ready to start qualifying here in Bahrain.
Right, yes, we're almost ready then. It's the 105-day wait. We've had 24 hours over 3 days of testing, 3 hours of practice here in Bahrain. It all comes down to this. This is where it gets real. And the green and the light has gone green.
Has gone.
At the end of the pit lane, we are officially go for 2021. And it's the Williams heading straight out onto the track. They're followed by the Haas drivers. We're under the lights in Bahrain. The 18 minutes of Q1 is go. And the season has officially now started. The excitement levels in Bahrain, Charlie, are out in the sky. It's all set to be an absolute thrilling qualifying session.
it looks great. I can't wait for this. It's going to be amazing. I think looking at this, we are now ready and waiting for the green flag to go. And we have got the green flag now. I've just had the timings. I've had to use my iPad because one of my laptops is dead. So I have all the timing screens on here. I also have the timing screens on my other my Chromebook as well. So lots of timing screens up in my little studio up here. So yeah.
Yeah, I've got quite a few myself, Charlie. Lewis Hamilton, the first active F1 driver to be knighted by the Queen, Sir Lewis Hamilton, we should say. After Sir Jack Brabham did it in 1978, Sir Sterling Moss in 2000, and Sir Jackie Stewart in 2001, but they were not active when they were knighthooded by the Queen. Lewis Hamilton, the first active driver to receive a knighthood, and the third driver in Formula One history. Obviously, we lost the great Sir Sterling Moss last year, but Hamilton could take the 8th world title this year. His quest for the 8th world title starts right here, Charlie.
Yeah, it does. Lots to talk about. Lewis Hamilton could be going for a record-breaking 8th world title if he wins this year.
Yeah, right. We're about to get the flying laps underway as George Russell comes round the final corner and he floors it down the straight. He crosses the line now to start his flying lap. The DRS wide open, the sparks flying from underneath the Williams as he slams the brakes for turn 1. No lockups, nice and neat there for George Russell. As he goes through turn 3. DRS wide open again. Can he not lock up into turn 4? That'd be crucial. Hits the apex nicely. Does he keep it within the track limits? Just about. And it's a 29.7 for George Russell. He's purple, but he's the only driver. He's the first driver to complete a sector. He acutely hits the apex at turn 8, Charlie. It's amazing the different lines they've been taking through that corner.
Lots of different lines. It's going to be very interesting to see how these all get on come qualifying. We've got 14 minutes to go. Russell currently at the moment on a time lap, and I think he's now heading into the middle sector.
Yes, he is. He's just heading up towards turn 13, Charlie.
So he's now into towards the final sector of the lap. Now, middle sector should be complete for Russell.
Someone's beaten his first sector time. I'm not quite sure who it is. It's not being displayed on the timing screens at the moment. But Russell is going to go quickest here in Bahrain because he's the first driver to set a lap as he hangs it round quite nicely through the final corner, through turn 14, onto turn 15. He supported the lap, Charlie. That's interesting that George Russell has aborted the lap. Did something go wrong?
Maybe he made a mistake down into 13. Maybe he got a bit wide and had a little bit of oversteer.
Mick Schumacher is also on the time lap, heading towards turn 13 as Nikita Mazepin spins out of the final corner, and that has wrecked his teammates. Turn 13, sorry. That's wrecked his teammates' lap as well. They both have to abort the lap. That's
what shame. How many laps yet? Wow. This is crazy. Mazepin just lost it under brake. Mick Schumacher has set a lap 1:33.8. That will probably be beaten by other drivers because obviously Schumacher had to back out of it into the final.
I'm just wondering, Charlie, had the yellow flags come out the time Schumacher had got past the marshal's post? Because that's a normal lap from Schumacher. I don't think
that was going to be interesting to see how the stewards are going to look at that one. Did he pass the light box before it went yellow?
I have to look at a replay of that. We're looking at the replay of Nikita Mazepin's spin now. Does he goes into the braking zone of turn 13? Just look. Oh, it's an odd spin, Charlie. It looks driver error. I wouldn't say that's anything to do with the wind. But doesn't look like Mick Schumacher backed off. The yellow flags, I don't think they're out. So I don't think the marshal managed to get his yellow flag out.
No.
So I don't think Schumacher will get penalised for that.
No, I'm not sure. Probably not. It's going to be interesting though.
And the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel is leaving the pits on a nice new shiny set of soft tyres, and everyone else is going to join them. The 2 Ferraris, the 2 Alfa Romeos, the Mercedes, the Williams of George Russell. I don't understand why they do this, Charlie. They had about 5 minutes of the session where no one was on
tyre set, apparently, according to this. No, he's on the softs. Let's just put a set of softs on.
Everyone's on the softs. We haven't seen the Red Bull yet. They're more decided to
looks like we're getting more drivers going out now on the track.
Yeah, Perez is coming out. He's on the soft. Max Verstappen's on the soft. This is where we're going to see, Charlie, who is fastest on track, because they have to run the same engine mode through all 3 qualifying sessions. So just under 12 minutes to go in this session. We've got the green light at the end of the pit lane, and Max Verstappen is now unleashing his Red Bull onto the circuit, and Sergio Perez as well. But interestingly, Verstappen stuck behind the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. I don't think he's particularly happy about it. He's waving his hands about, saying, "Can you get out of my way, please?"
Them two came together last year during FP2, I think, in Portimao. So looks like those two have not learned any lessons from last year on how to get stuck behind someone.
It looked like they were having a bit of a race up towards turn 4. But Lando Norris is going to be leading these laps. The drivers behind will be praying that Lando Norris doesn't run into any bother as he heads towards turn 13. He's just getting those final preparations. We're seeing some helicopter shots now of the Bahrain circuit at night. It does look rather magnificent under the floodlights, and Lando Norris now heading towards turn 14. He floors it out of the corner, and away he goes down the straight. A lovely shot from the helicopter cam there. The guy patrolling that cam, he must be getting his money's worth today. But Lando Norris, he slams the brakes for turn 1, doesn't lock up, looks nice and neat. A headwind going into turn 1, so you might see some lockups going down there. Towards turn 4, I think there's a problem with our graphic because it says he's in neutral. I don't think he'll be in neutral travelling at 200 miles. Now, be one slightly wide on the exit of turn 4. What will the stewards have to say with that as he swoops left and right and slams the brakes for turn 8? He goes deep into the corner low and will
not lost a bit of time there, I reckon, a couple of tenths.
And he's towards turn 10. Hamilton crosses the line. He's now on his blind lap. I can see on the track map Hamilton heading towards turn 1. What's Hamilton through turn 2, turn 3? I haven't actually got a camera. I'm just looking at them on the track map. But Norris heading towards turn 13 now. It's a purple middle sector for Lando Norris. A very nice middle sector.
Middle sector looks an improvement.
But he's got cars in the way. They all stay to the right-hand side, don't they? Supposed to. Very, very nicely indeed. And he rounds turn 14 through turn 15. This is going to be the benchmark that time.
31.7 for Norris.
131.7, Charlie, is the one to beat.
Leclerc's gone faster by 0.07 of a second.
And Leclerc goes faster, you're right, Charlie, on a 131.6.
However, though, Sainz goes even faster, a 121.6 for the Spaniard.
Yeah, that's right, Charlie. This is so tight, though. As Bottas heads towards the line, Hamilton's done two purple sectors on his lap. Mercedes showing their pace now. Bottas, though, comes towards the line. Where is he going to put that?
131.200.
And the fastest final sector for Hamilton towards the line now.
Even faster, half a second quicker than his teammate. Wow.
136, Charlie. The Mercedes flying now, but we're going to have to wait and see what the Red Bulls can do. One of them's about to come over the line. Indeed, now
Perez
on
the first second.
Perez goes second.
Good lap from Perez, actually. Half a second off.
Verstappen is 41 thousandths of a second up, Charlie. It's all going down to the final sector.
Very close between Hamilton and Verstappen now. He's just got to make his final sector good.
What's the gap going to be as Verstappen comes over the line.
He's fastest by a tenth of a second.
He's fastest by a tenth of a second. You're right, Charlie.
Gasly third for AlphaTauri. My goodness.
As Gasly goes third, you're right, Charlie.
Wow. That's a fantastic lap from Pierre Gasly. 3
And
tenths.
Tsunoda goes second. Yuki Tsunoda goes second.
Wow. Tsunoda's gone even faster. Oh my god, wow.
So
That's a shocker.
So currently in the elimination zone is Ocon, Latifi, Russell, Mazepin, and Schumacher. But obviously,
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to go through. Can Russell get out of Q1?
I tell you what, Charlie, the top 5 is all separated by under a second.
Wow. That is crazy. I mean, Yuki Tsunoda, what a lap from him. What an that's a fantastic lap from the young 20-year-old Japanese driver.
And bits flying off the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, Charlie. That's slightly concerning. If you're a Red Bull mechanic, I'm sure they check all of that. And Yuki Tsunoda
could be. Let's hope that's not anything serious. Might just be sparks.
No, Charlie, he's run over the curb, and it's not something on the floor.
Run
over the curb at turn 2, and something on the floor has come off.
Must have ran a bit too wide. Must have slight floor damage, maybe.
There was a few bits flying off. I think they flew off the racetrack. If they're on the racetrack, then that's a puncture hazard.
5 minutes to go.
5 minutes to go as Verstappen comes
Looks
back.
very tight, Jack, doesn't it? Yuki Tsunoda, though, the star of that session. AlphaTauri in the top 5. Wow. Let's hope if I tell you what, if they can qualify that high on the grid tomorrow, I could even see them chance of winning the race.
They do, Charlie. Could you imagine Yuki Tsunoda?
I know, it'd be incredible, but I'm not going to pass my doubts on that yet. I think McLaren are going to want to have a better lap though. Ricciardo's 8th, Norris 10th. Hopefully, we'll see McLaren go faster on their next runs.
Yeah, let's hopefully we'll. 5 minutes to go in this Q1 session. Then it's refuel time. I don't think we might have to see Bottas again, Charlie. He's in 6th. He could be under a bit of threat. I wonder if Mercedes will send him out again for precaution. But I think Verstappen, Tsunoda, Hamilton, and Gasly, Perez are all safe in this session now.
Ricciardo's going to have to go again.
Ricciardo will have to go again.
He's only 7 tenths off the drop. So,
both Ferraris, both Aston Martins, both Alfa Romeos, both Alpines, both Williams, and both Hasses will all have to go again for sure.
Yeah. Certainly, yeah, definitely.
But I can see, Charlie, there's a beaming smile of Yuki Tsunoda under his helmet. He must be absolutely delighted with that.
Yuki Tsunoda.
Charlie's just had a technical issue there, I think. He'll be back shortly.
Unless he will run again.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, Charlie, wouldn't it, if they run again.
Both AlphaTauris, unless we see... The thing now, Ferrari are in a difficult one as well. Ferrari may even have to run again, potentially. I'd say Leclerc might have to run again. Sainz is a borderline one.
Right, Williams have just thrown the spanner into the works. They've come out with 3.5 minutes to go on a clear track, and that's tempted everyone else to come out with them as well. Mick Schumacher, though, when he starts the 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix, Mick Schumacher will be the same age as his father, Michael, when he made his Formula One debut in 1991. A used tyre on as well for Mercedes. That's interesting, Charlie.
Are they trying to save sets of tyres here for their race, maybe?
Or are they trying to collect data for tomorrow? And we're just seeing a lovely tribute of Murray Walker on the Williams halo, Charlie.
Love that. It's incredible. Williams putting that on the halo. Really special.
Incredibly special. Obviously, Murray Walker will be dearly, dearly missed. And we hope that he rests in peace, Charlie.
Yeah.
Right. So they're tiptoeing round. They're doing what they usually do, Charlie. They back each other up. Latifi, George Russell's testing out his DRS, but he's going to slam his brakes again, Charlie, and cause a big queue. There's an umbrella on the side of the circuit, Charlie. It's going crazy with the wind. Hopefully it doesn't take off. But we saw that a few years back in Abu Dhabi, the umbrella ending up on the circuit.
Oh, God. Last thing you want is an umbrella on the circuit. Could be puncture bound for many people. I don't know who's gone out according to the timings.
So with 2 minutes to go, we have both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, both McLarens, both Aston Martins, both Alpines, both Alfa Romeos, both Williams, both Haas, both the Red Bulls are actually... No, Perez is coming out. Perez has come out, but he's just come out, so I don't think he's going to get enough time to get to the checkered flag.
Wow.
As George Russell starts his final flying lap, Mr. Saturday is going to need a big lap here because he's currently 18 and he's 2/10 off of the elimination zone. Giovinazzi's the driver at risk currently. Russell just about hangs on as he floors it through turn 2, turn 3, onto turn 4. Again, hits the apex quite nicely, keeps it well within the track limits there. And as he goes towards turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, again nicely within the track limits. He's up though, Charlie, on the time that he needs to get through to Q2. Mr. Saturday might be making a comeback here towards turn 9 through turn 10. No lockups.
He's got to have a good final sector if he's going to get anywhere.
Yeah, he opens
his now the end of this middle sector, and it's very technical here in Bahrain.
Once more, slams shut for turn 11, and what's his second sector time going to be? He's absolutely committed through turn 12. He's 1 second up, Charlie, on the time. That's mega middle sector from the Williams driver towards the final. There's cars ahead of him. Is that going to compromise him?
Oh.
Through turn 15, through the last corner now. George Russell is going to cross the line now.
Wow.
7th fastest. What a lap for George Russell. And someone's spun off. It's a Nikita Mazepin, and that's ruined everyone's lap. Nikita Mazepin gone off at turn 1. Everyone's backed off. That's the end.
Had another spin. Oh no.
Latifi just goes 14th low. Latifi, Charlie, into Q2.
Latifi's just knocked Sebastian Vettel into the drop zone now. Bottas has fallen. Antonio Giovinazzi's gone 7th.
Flag in sector 2,
Norris up to 6th.
Giovinazzi goes 7th fastest in the Alfa Romeo. Raikkonen goes 11th. Out of qualifying. I want to see what this yellow flag is for in sector 2. I wonder if someone's crashed, Charlie, because it's quite a long yellow flag. But Alonso in 15th place.
Sainz down to 14th. What is going on with him?
Pardon, what did you say, Charlie?
Sainz is down in 14th at the moment.
Yeah.
On my timings. Something's not going on with him.
In sector 2, so whatever that issue was has been cleared. But Ocon now Ocon comes over the line. 15th fastest, he's just made it. But no, Stroll goes 12th. Ocon is out of qualifying. But where is Vettel going to go? Sainz is now the driver at risk. Vettel is out. Vettel's 18. Vettel is out of qualifying. I wonder if
that is horrendous news for Aston Martin. Horrendous.
That is shocking, Charlie, from the German.
Wow.
Sebastian Vettel is out of qualifying.
That is crazy. And I mean, to be honest with you, McLaren, Ricciardo 5th fastest. Ricciardo ended up 2/10 off the pace in the end. In 5th, Gasly 6th for AlphaTauri. Alonso, very good effort from him, but Esteban Ocon has sunk his heart that he's now out of qualifying, and that is a poor result from him. And he will be wanting to reset tomorrow. I'll repeat, the drivers that are out of qualifying are Ocon, Latifi, Vettel, Schumacher and Mazepin. That is Ocon, Latifi, Vettel, Schumacher and Mazepin are all out of Q1.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz, only 1/10 off being eliminated.
The stewards are investigating the lap times for drivers ignoring yellow flags.
Oh, this could be interesting.
So I've just had it come up on my screen, Charlie. Race control are investigating the lap times as Max Verstappen tops the final, the first part of qualifying. But that is interesting, Charlie, that the stewards are going to investigate all of the drivers who set a lap time in that final part of qualifying. George Russell is safe, Charlie, because he set his lap before the yellow flags came out. But I'm just trying to think, is
lap times being investigated? I have that just come up on my screen.
Vettel backed off. He had a slow middle sector, so he must have backed off.
Race control room there.
Charlie, who could possibly be in trouble? The Alfa Romeos, I think, set a lap time after the yellow flags and they went through. We're going to have to see another replay of this, Charlie, because this is interesting.
This is really interesting. I don't
understand. Is back, everybody.
Well, for just leaving back to Q1, I mean, where do I start? I mean, Haas the slowest. Haas the slowest. Vettel, disappointing from him. Latifi, unlucky. Ocon had a very difficult, dismal qualifying. But obviously, we have lap times under investigation. But for Williams on Twitter, through to Q2, hashtag Bahrain Grand Prix. Williams, George Russell into Q2.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's so interesting gonna be what the stewards decide. I haven't actually seen a replay of what caused that yellow flag yet. I assume someone had a spin, but I don't know who it was. I didn't see the Mercedes come back to the pits or the Red Bull. I saw the Red Bull come back. I didn't see the Mercedes come back. I wonder if one of the Mercedes had a slight issue on the circuit which brought out the yellow flags, but I have to look at that.
We are now approaching the start of Q2. Most clear of the Russian who spun at turn 1 at the start of his own flying, but it sounds like Vettel might have been caught up in that incident, hence his inability to approve at the end.
Involving Max Verstappen, where he lost some of his bodywork. He seems to run, coming off the floor, there's a shower of sparks, and then something flies off. The bodywork's bouncing around. Something flies off the bottom of that Red Bull, Charlie. And is this what happened to Ocon? Is this what caused the yellow flags? Goes a bit deep. No, he just gets a wobble of oversteer. And the yellow flag did cost Esteban Ocon there. But what caused that yellow flag? That's what I'm interested to know. What caused the yellow flag? We haven't actually seen a replay of that yellow flag.
Been involved in that.
Yeah.
On the timing swings. Ferrari, I don't know what happened to them.
No, I don't. I think they were on the yellow flags as well. Nikita Mazepin, Charlie, did have a spin at turn 1. I wonder if he span again later in the lap.
Wow. I think Nikita Mazepin is really struggling in that car, without a doubt. Here's Sainz's team radio. I have it here. Apologies for the slight technical glitches that I'm having here. Sainz's team radio has just come through. Here it is.
Engine stop. I don't know why.
Sainz has just said his engine stopped on his radio.
Oh, yes, Charlie, I'm just seeing. I think that's what caused the yellow flags.
Green light's gone.
Yeah, Charlie just stalls. I wonder if Carlos Sainz, Charlie's out of qualifying here.
I think he could be. I think the Ferrari, that's bad for Sainz. He's going to have to have an. If it's an engine issue, it's going to be another. It's going to be a brand new power unit for him.
And like you said, Charlie, the flag's gone green at the end of the pit lane for Q2, and the 15 minutes is well underway. Verstappen, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Gasly, Alonso, Norris, Giovinazzi, Perez, Bottas, Stroll, Russell, Raikkonen, Bottas 11th, Charlie, in the first qualifying session. That's a shocker as well.
Yeah, loads of drivers. Alfa and Romeo are just.
The Sainz stopped on track, Charlie. Sainz stopped on track, so he is out of qualifying, I'm sure
Sainz,
now.
Surely.
Yes.
Raikkonen's in this as well. Both Alphas are through to Q2. So could one of the Alphas get through to Q3 here? This is going to be huge. Obviously, Fernando Alonso is in this as well. Alonso, will we get through to Q3? We don't know. 7th place from him. All comes down to the next session. We have 15 minutes on the clock this time for for Q2. So we are going to keep you updated here.
But obviously, Charlie, a huge handful of these drivers are still under investigation for failing to stow for yellow flags. The Mercedes have come out on the medium tyres, Charlie. That's not a surprise. We expected a lot of the drivers to come out on medium tyres. Are you surprised, Charlie, that race control didn't throw the red flag if drivers were failing to slow?
I was a bit shocked. You could argue a red flag was needed if Sainz stopped. It depends where Sainz stopped as well, but it seems now like the grid's going to be absolutely confused and jumping.
So, both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, and both McLarens have all come out on the medium compound tyres. Everyone else is out on the softs.
Fernando Alonso is on the softs. Antonio Giovinazzi's on the softs, and so is Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin as well.
So it's the Mercedes, Charlie, that's leading the way. It's the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. And Mercedes alternated which driver goes first. I'm assuming it's Valtteri Bottas' turn this time to go first as he's leading the way. But Hamilton's dropped back a bit. But Verstappen, Charlie, is desperately trying to get past the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's having absolutely none of that. Mick Schumacher watching on, Charlie, and thinking, why am I not out there as the AlphaTauri's put away? Pierre Gasly's just left the garage and he's venturing out, and he's joined by his teammate Yuki Tsunoda now as well as the first.
Yuki Tsunoda out on the soft tyres, Pierre Gasly out on the mediums. Both AlphaTauri's on different tyres. That's huge actually for AlphaTauri because they're both obviously going to
from Ferrari. The engine cutout from Carlos Sainz was caused by vibrations from the curbs. That's going to be interesting because as Verstappen overtakes Hamilton, what's his team radio? So Verstappen's had a radio failure by the sounds of it. GP not being able to hear Max. So I think they've got that sorted out now. But as Verstappen goes, Bottas, is about to set he crosses the line and his DRS is wide open. The sparks flying from underneath that Mercedes car. No lock-ups in turn one. Nice and neat there for Bottas. But yeah, it was so that's interesting, Charlie, that it was caused by the curbs. You know,
that's big. That's a big issue.
I'm thinking, Charlie, now that the other teams are going to be onto their drivers, stay off the curbs. But they're obviously driving on limit for qualifying. That's probably more of a problem for the race tomorrow, isn't it? Staying off curbs.
Staying off curbs. That's going to be a big issue, especially last year at the Austrian Grand Prix. Both Mercedes were told to stay off the curbs.
They were indeed. So Bottas has kept his purple sector. Be interesting to see what Verstappen does. Verstappen and Hamilton are both slightly down on Bottas. That's interesting. But Bottas, as he flicks it up towards turn 12 and into turn 13. Keeps it nice and neat. It's another purple sector, but Verstappen's gone even faster than Valtteri Bottas. What will LH do now? Hamilton on the medium tyres goes even faster than Max Verstappen, Charlie. Bottas is about to set the benchmark time as he rounds turn 15. Bottas, the time to aim for is a 1:30.
30 Verstappen 2/10 quicker.
Verstappen's just gone quicker though, Charlie. But what does Lewis Hamilton do? Hamilton towards the line goes fastest by 0.2 of a second.
Norris only Norris fourth for McLaren, 0.6 off the pace.
That's the first time, Charlie, that we've seen Hamilton ahead of Verstappen. It was a stellar lap though from the British driver.
Leclerc fifth for Ferrari.
And car's been fixed, Charlie. He managed to make it back to the pits and he is back out on track.
Sainz managed to get back out and still actually faster than his teammate.
Those fifth fastest. You're right there, Charlie.
Stroll seventh for Aston.
What? Stroll
Perez
seventh,
up to fourth.
Perez fourth. Norris fifth. Sainz sixth.
Ricciardo only seventh for him.
Yes. As Ricciardo goes seventh, you're right there, Charlie. Gasly, though, has gone fastest in sector 1. Wow.
This is AlphaTauri.
Has had their lap time deleted.
Oh.
Tsunoda has had his lap time deleted. Perez has had his lap time deleted.
Oh, this is going to cause issues.
And Tsunoda's just completed another lap and has gone 10th fastest. And Ricciardo's lap time's just been deleted.
This is crazy now. Wow. Wow, this is a heart-stopping moment for everyone that loads of lap times are gone.
Yeah, I haven't. So the top three, Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. Hamilton, Charlie, half a second ahead of his teammate.
Pretty much. Hamilton blisteringly fast on that lap. But has Gasly's lap been deleted? That's the question. He's gone 8.
Gasly's lap still stands. He's 8th fastest. The AlphaTauris are going to have to go again on the soft tyres. That's not good news for the AlphaTauri because that means they're going to have to start on the soft tyres if they get into Q3.
As I mentioned earlier, that's the same rules play. Alonso 6th on softs. Lando Norris 4th.
India out there, Charlie, as well.
Yeah, Lando Norris 4th for McLaren. Probably borderline. I mean, Sainz, who's going to have to go again? This is the question looking at the timings. Because Sainz is 5th, but Leclerc is 7th.
That's Sergio Perez, and he goes about a metre off the circuit, Charlie. No surprise that that's been deleted. And yeah, it goes well past the red and white curbs. That's your limit at turn 4. What does Sainz do? Does the same thing, but actually a bit closer. Ricciardo, sorry, I'm getting confused between who drives for McLaren now. Ricciardo, yeah, he goes about half a metre behind the red and white curbs. That's beyond what you're allowed to do. So Ricciardo, Perez and Russell have had their times deleted. They're going to have to go again. The quickest time, a 1:30.0.
8.5.
Sergio Perez is going back out on a medium set tyres by the looks of it. It looks like they're fixing some tyres to that Red Bull.
Perez has got to get a good lap in here, otherwise he's in trouble.
Are you wondering, Charlie, is there a bit of damage to Verstappen's car which is hampering him a bit with aerodynamics?
Not sure on that one. I'd have to check the floor maybe to see what the damage could be.
Yeah. And Russell is going again. He's just gone through turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. The braking, the DRS, sorry, is wide open as he slams his brakes for turn 4. Does he keep it within the track limits this time? Yes, he does. Through turn 5, turn 6, swoops through turn 7. One of those corners you have to take flat out, but you don't want to. Turn 8, he looks rather agile as he gets on the power out of turn 8. through turn 9 now, on to turn 10. Again, quite agile, looks quite cautious, Charlie, going through
Yeah, he does. He looks quite cautious.
that part of the lap as he DRS slams shut for turn 11 on the soft tyre for George Russell. He's the only driver out on track currently. The sparks fly as he heads up towards turn 13. He's a second up on the time he needs to be to get into Q3. But it's all depending on this final sector for car number 63 through turn 14. Now the final corner, turn 15. He's navigated the last corner. He goes towards the line now and only 13th fastest.
Russell's out of qualifying, unless he can bang another lap in, but it's looking like Russell's out.
But they've all come out again, Charlie. They've all flown out of the pits, and it's Verstappen. They've all come out pretty much, actually. Our Mercedes going to do a soft tyre run and then abort their lap at the end of it. Remember, you can join the conversation. Tweet us, #Bahrain GP. So Pierre Gasly's personal best is a 1:31.1. So he's the second off the pace of Lewis Hamilton's at the moment. Either Red Bull's got damaged, Charlie, or Mercedes have whacked their engine up. One of the two. So, who's gonna? So they're all on the out lap at the moment. Antonio Giovinazzi needs to claim 3 tenths, and all that was a close call between Giovinazzi and the AlphaTauri into turn 11, but they managed to sort themselves out. It's this is going to be interesting, Charlie. Sit tight, don't go anywhere, because we're in for a great final couple of minutes of Q2. And they're pushing to get clear space, Charlie. Is that going to compromise them? Pierre Gasly floors it out of the final corner. 2 minutes to go in this Q2 session. And he's starting a lap. And right hand the first corner. No lockups. Nice and neat there for the AlphaTauri driver. Bottas has also just started his flying lap, I think.
Yeah.
300 kilometers an hour as he stands the brakes for turn 4. Pierre Gasly keeps it well within the track limits through turn 6, turn 7, turn 8. But Gasly's half a millisecond down on what he needs to be, Charlie. It's so tight, so tight, half a millisecond. But he towards turn 10 doesn't lock up. That's crucial for Pierre Gasly. The DRS wide open now then. And now you've got to stay on the right-hand side of the circuit. Flicks it through to the left for turn 11. Right now for turn 12. For turn 12, he stays to the right-hand side. Back to the left for turn 5 for the right-hander of turn 13. He's just slightly up now on the time, Charlie, but I don't think he's going to improve because he looked quite agile.
Perez fourth.
Perez goes fourth fastest. But here comes Pierre Gasly towards
what
line.
a lap from Gasly.
Now, third fastest, Charlie.
What a lap from him. That is fantastic from the AlphaTauri driver. Bottas second on the mediums.
Stays 10th fastest. No, not. Yeah.
Tsunoda's only 11th. Shame from him.
Tsunoda's out. Giovinazzi goes 6th fastest. Raikkonen's out of qualifying as well. He's 12th. But what can the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll provide? Stroll towards the line now.
5th. What a lap.
Fastest. And Aston Martin are into the final part of qualifying. Ricciardo still set no time as Leclerc goes fastest. Charles Leclerc's gone fastest, but Sainz has gone fastest now. Alonso towards the line. puts his Alpine into Q3. Ricciardo.
Fifth for
Fifth
Daniel.
fastest for Ricciardo. Perez is driver at risk. Norris. Can Norris knock Perez out of qualifying? Norris.
He has fourth.
Fourth fastest. Perez is out. I think Perez is out of qualifying on his debut at Red Bull.
That's such a shame.
Perez is out in Q2. Listen to this, Charlie. Leclerc 1 millisecond beside his teammate. Hamilton 76 thousandths of a second off Carlos Sainz. It's incredibly tight.
Wow. That's a shocker. How on earth have they managed to get their soft tyres to work that well?
And Perez not happy with Red Bull putting him out on the medium tyres. Is 11th the best place to start though, Charlie? Because you get
the free tyre choice could help him. But wow, what an end to that qualifying session. I mean, I was shocked. That's a shocker. Look, Verstappen down to 7th. And he's on the softs.
It's
Gasly's into Q3.
Verstappen actually set his fastest time on the medium compound tyre, Charlie. So I think he came out on the softs. He came out on the softs, Charlie, and aborted that.
Yeah.
So Ferrari did set their fastest lap on the soft tyres, so it's not really like they're a contender for pole just yet, anyway. But this don't go anywhere because Q3 is going to be something special. But Sainz in Q2 at the top of the timesheets.
Very tight in the top 10. Very tight. 0.6 of a second covering 10th to 1st.
Tsunoda's out, Charlie. The person who set it second fastest.
That's a shame for Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
Such a shame for him. Only 13th. Gasly gets through to Q3, which will be a boost at least for AlphaTauri.
Yeah, Gasly's through.
Norris. A lot of drivers on the softs tomorrow, though. I mean, maybe the mediums were not the tyre to be on after all.
Maybe they weren't. That's going to be interesting for the race tomorrow, Charlie.
That's interesting because I thought the mediums, some of those drivers may have had to put softs on. And looking at the leaderboard, Gasly's going to start on the mediums tomorrow. And he's in the top 10. The gamblers on the mediums were just Mercedes, the two Mercedes and AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly. Rest all offs.
Yeah. It's
Lance Stroll through by only 0.05 of a second.
So tight, Charlie. It's mind-blowing.
This is at a 400th of a second.
I think we're in for in Q3.
But Verstappen was in trouble as well. Wow, this shows you what happens.
It does, doesn't it? It really does show you what happens.
Well, McLaren, Lando looks quick. Let's hope we see Lando do well. But Lando Norris quicker than Valtteri. Lando was only 900ths off, so it's going to be
interesting, Charlie, with the race tomorrow, isn't it?
It's going to be a thrilling old battle for pole here. Very, very close between all of these drivers and teams.
It's going to be tight. As we're coming up to 3:45 UK time, that's 6:45 local time, and we are nearly ready for Q3. So Vettel got knocked out in Q1. That's the big shock of the day, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah.
Big shock there. But we're just going to hear from Sebastian.
made it across the back, and then yeah, had the issue obviously with the yellow flags during the lap, so that made it a little bit impossible to sort of come back. But yeah, it's what it is now, and we try to see what we can do.
It's fair to say that no one knows the true pace of this Aston Martin.
Yeah.
It's fair to say that no one knows the true pace of this Aston Martin yet. What's your understanding of this car? How does it feel?
Well, I think the quality was good and it was positive, still positive. Obviously, I only got like a lap and a half, but yeah, I think we still have a lot of work ahead of us, and I think we would have hoped for a better start, but it's what it is, and hopefully tomorrow we have a good race. I think we can come up quite a bit and see what the day brings.
You do seem very relaxed. Your experience on the
Well, I
CYC
mean, my panic now wouldn't help. So if I was really upset, I mean, for sure I'm upset and angry that, it wasn't our fault in a way not to make it through, but yeah, we have to take it and do what we can, preparing tomorrow.
Thank you.
So Sebastian Vettel there talking to Natalie Pinkham. Charlie, it was we're just seeing the Ferrari logo get displayed on the tower at turn 1. Charlie's got his camera off at the moment, so we'll let him get himself sorted out before we ask him any questions. But we are almost ready for Q3. Charlie's on mute. I don't know if he realises he's on mute. Can I turn him off? Let's have a look. Okay. So Charlie will be back very, very soon. In fact, he's back now, but he's still on mute, so we're waiting for him to get back. He's off mute, Charlie. We're about to go green for qualifying 3. We're good to go, I think. The cars are they're in the garages, the tyres are on, the tyre blankets are on. It's looking, Charlie, like it's going to be a fantastic final part qualifying here.
Well, yeah, it is. And certainly my prediction of Perez finishing in the top 5 goes out of context now.
It definitely does, Charlie, because he's not in the final part of qualifying.
No, he's only 11th. Oh, wow.
Only 11th. That's another big story of Q2, isn't it?
Perez in his first run for Red Bull out in Q2.
The green light, and who is going to come out first? So green light at the end of the pit lane for the first Q3 session of the year. It's the Mercedes leading the way on the soft tyres. They have to go out on the softs in Q3. It's only Verstappen for Red Bull. Obviously, Checo out. So they can't use that advantage where they can tow each other. That's a disaster for Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen as well. He won't get the advantage of the tow from his teammate. And so, Charlie, we've just had confirmation from Red Bull that there is some damage to the floor of that Red Bull, but because of Parc Fermé regulations, it cannot be fixed. Is that going to compromise them for this qualifying session?
Yeah, it could well compromise Max Verstappen.
Right, so the Q3 drivers, Sainz, Hamilton, Norris, Bottas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Gasly, Leclerc, Alonso, and Stroll. Alonso into Q3 on his Formula 1 return. He must be a happy Spaniard. This evening in Bahrain, if he can get anywhere near the top 5, I think he'd be rather pleased with that, wouldn't he, Charlie?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how he gets on. I think we're going to have to see how he gets on, really. It's going to be interesting. Very close. It's going to be lots of issues with obviously everyone. So let's see how far.
Charlie's just froze. But interestingly, Leclerc, Alonso, and Stroll have all decided to stay in the pit lane for now, with 10 minutes to go in this session. Are they looking at, Charlie, we might actually get a better start if we start from 8th, 9th, and 10th, respectively?
Maybe. Some of these drivers may only be going for the one run.
Maybe. There's a bit of a scrap going on for track position now. There always is on the back straight. Pierre Gasly tiptoeing around. He's going a bit slow, maybe a bit too slow for other drivers' likings. But Daniel Ricciardo is going to set off this final part of qualifying. For the first time this season, Ricciardo crosses the line to start a Q3 lap. And he's going to slam the brakes for turn 1. No lock up there. Through turn 2. Let's take a look at this lap. All runs a bit wide, gets over the curbs. Sparks fly from underneath the McLaren. No lock up into 4. He keeps it within the track limits. So no reason for the stewards to take away this lap just yet. Through turn 7. On to turn 8. He's got to get that line on through turn 8 right. He does. Gets it nicely right. Nicely on the power now. Towards turn 9. He goes. No lockups into turn 10. That's crucial again for Ricciardo. Someone's Gasly has gone fastest in the first sector. Gasly goes fastest. Turn 11 for Daniel Ricciardo. He's flipped there through turn 12 now onto the right hander of turn 13. Ricciardo, is fastest, but someone else has beaten Gasly. Gasly goes fastest through the second sector. Daniel Ricciardo, Hamilton a 10th up on Verstappen. That's crucial. Ricciardo across the line now. This is going to be the benchmark that time of a 1:31.3 is the benchmark lap time.
Gasly, wow, I say over a second.
This was a 1:30.0.
Cool.
But Norris now towards the line.
Oh, he's third.
Here comes
Bottas slower than Gasly. Wow.
Bottas only second fastest for Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton towards the line.
4 tenths quicker.
Now 1:29.5 for Lewis Hamilton. But what is Verstappen doing? He's done a purple middle sector. Carlos Sainz, 2
200ths of a second.
Verstappen takes provisional pole by 23 thousandths of a second in Bahrain. Wow.
This really is very close.
On provisional pole. 23 thousandths of a second. You couldn't ask it for much more speed,
wow.
If you like, could you, Charlie?
That's
This is extraordinary.
for Tauri. Wow. If they never dreamt it of being this high on the grid, this will be probably their best ever qualifying if Gasly can stay there.
Probably, yeah. It's going to take Charlie, it's not done yet, though. We've still got one more run.
No, they have still got one more run with now.
Session. I tell you what, don't go anywhere. Hold on tight. Strap yourself.
It's really tight now. This is going to be so close.
This is going to be exciting.
McLaren are going to have scratching their heads right now. They're going to need to have a very good run if they're going to want to get up in the top 5.
7. Leclerc and Alonso, still no time set. Stroll's on an out lap. He's going out in the break. That's interesting between runs. So what's Stroll going to do with his lap? He's about to start very soon, I think. But everyone between first to 5th is separated by under a second. That's how tight it is, Charlie.
Very, very close. Track temperature. I think the track's now 28.1 degrees. Was that the air temperature at the moment?
So it's coming towards the drivers a bit more now, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Very, very close.
Is Charlie, if you can get a good start, is second place the best? The best place to start.
It's going to be very interesting.
5 minutes to go in this session, and it's the new sets of tyres are going on. We're going to see some drivers out on track very soon. Stroll's doing a very slow out lap. He's still on his out lap. I don't know what's going on with that Aston Martin. Leclerc and Alonso still no time set. I wonder if they've got some problems, Charlie, because you'd think they will come out by now for at least one more. So Mercedes have got to up their game, Charlie. If they want to take pole, it's going to need all of the experience on the 7-time world champion to snatch it away.
Valtteri Bottas needs to put in a bumper lap if he's going to get anywhere.
Right, so Stroll's finally started his flying lap after his relatively slow out lap. So he keeps it well within the track limits of turn 4. And he's 2 tenths down on Verstappen's first sector time. So Stroll keeps it nice and neat through turn 8 and onto turn 9 and turn 10. No lockups there. Aston Martin in Q3 for the first time in Formula 1. He's got his DRS wide open as he heads towards turn 11. I'll tell you what, Charlie, as they all pour out of the pit lane again, if we can get this action tomorrow, we're in for a thrilling Bahrain Grand Prix. Oh, there's a bit of a collision in the pit lane, Charlie, as they all come out in front of each other. They just about managed to avoid losing a front wing in there. I wonder if the stewards would like to have a look at that. They're still investigating, the stewards, that incident where failing to
Stroll's
slow.
gone sick fastest.
Stroll's just gone sick, as you say, Charlie. But they don't have long, Charlie. With only about 2 minutes 45 seconds left on the clock. They're going quite slow. They're going to need to get on with it. They're still only on. They're still only going up towards turn 4, and they're battling for track position.
They're going to have to get a move on.
Don't
want to repeat Alonso again, don't we? When we're all weaving to get track position.
They're all weaving to get track position. They're going to, surely the FIA's got to do something about this, Charlie, because they are following each other like a train, and Max Verstappen's dive bombing everyone.
He's very impatient, Max. He wants to get on with it, doesn't he?
He wants to lead the way, doesn't he? He wants to say, I'm leading. I'm not following you guys. I'm going for it. But he's going to stick behind the AlphaTauri and Mercedes, probably to get a bit of a toe. But they're still tossing it all. And Stroll is not very happy with Carlos Sainz. And Gasly's being told people trying to play games. The Mercedes getting very close to each other. Now, we knew this was going to happen, didn't we, Charlie, in Q3?
Yeah.
Right. So they're pulling the gap now. Hamilton's going to back everyone up and give Bottas a bit of room. As Bottas, through turn 15, draws it for the final time in Bahrain in Q3. Bottas crosses the line. Hamilton rounds the final corner with 1 minute to go in Q3. They're all going to comfortably make the checkered flag. Bottas, nice and neat. The turn 1 there, through turn 2, on to turn 3. The DRS wide open for Valtteri as he heads towards turn 4. It's a 4-way fight for pole position here. Bottas is 22 thousandths of a second down on Max Verstappen's that time. But what can Lewis Hamilton do? Hamilton's a 10th up on Verstappen. Hamilton's a 10th up. What does Gasly do? Gasly's 70 thousandths of a second down. But Max Verstappen is the one we are looking for. Bottas along the back straight. DRS wide open. Verstappen has gone quicker through sector 1 than Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen going quicker. Bottas towards turn 4, turn 13, sorry, is nearly 2 tenths of a second down. Bottas in 4th place, plunging down the back straight. Hamilton's 37th of a second down on Max Verstappen's time. Gasly's 3 tenths down.
Gasly's had a bit of a difficult middle sector.
Towards the line. Now, third fastest. No front row. What can Lewis Hamilton
Hamilton's
do?
gone fastest.
Hamilton towards the line is
He's on
on
pole.
provisional pole by 1/10 of a second. But Verstappen is going even faster. Gasly
Verstappen's done
goes
it.
fourth fastest. Verstappen's on pole in Bahrain by 4/10 of a second. Red Bull take pole away from
Leclerc's fault
Mercedes.
for Ferrari.
Verstappen is on pole from Lewis Hamilton for the opening race
Norris
of the
up to
season.
sixth.
What a lap, Charlie! A 1:28.9
Wow.
from the Dutch driver.
Ricardo's just replaced Norris in sixth position there. Alonso ninth. And that's it, I think, according to the standings.
And Mercedes, Charlie, are absolutely stunned.
Gasly fifth for AlphaTauri. Strong showing from him. He should be happy with that.
That
Good
was a
result for
stellar lap
AlphaTauri.
for Max Verstappen. We repeat it again, Charlie. A 1:28.9. That's a new track record as well.
Max Verstappen has just raised the roof. Nearly 4/10 quicker than Mercedes. Incredible. Several drivers are still under investigation. So could this grid change?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure who's actually under investigation. We need to wait for confirmation from the stewards, Charlie. But that was something special. Formula One is back, everybody.
Wow. Lucky I didn't get it emphatic. Yeah, Verstappen has now had 10 points on F1 Fantasy for securing pole position for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
I tell you what, we've had the hype. We've hyped it up. Is it going to be a great season? Are we going to get this battle? We went and truly are. That's for sure. Hamilton is putting into second. And is it? It's going to be a three-way fight tomorrow, isn't it?
Looking at that, I think it's going to be a three-way fight. But just looking at the times there, I mean, Lance Stroll, 10th for Aston. Yeah, he's interesting. Fernando Alonso, 9th. McLaren, I'm a little bit disappointed with McLaren, actually. I've expected them to be a bit higher. But, I mean, they're still starting. 6th is still very respectable from Daniel Ricciardo, I think.
The FIA, Charlie, are down at the Red Bull garage. We said Red Bull had a floor issue. Did they replace it illegally? The FIA are down at Red Bull now, checking, was Verstappen's car legal for Q3? So it could not be the final order yet. Goodness,
jeez. Let's hope. I hope it stays like this. I remember one year in Mexico, he got pulled down a few places for speeding, I think, or on yellow flags.
He's had a clean sweep in Bahrain, Charlie. He's had all 3 practice sessions and takes pole as well. Max Verstappen, it's saying over the circuit, 4th pole position in Formula One. Hamilton had the chance to take his 99th. Max takes his 4th. Pierre Gasly, though, Charlie, is starting 4th tomorrow. It's going to be one not to miss, isn't it?
Wow. For Gasly starting 5th on the grid, it's going to be amazing.
We're going to wrap this live up. Join us tomorrow, 3:35, to give you all of the build-up to the race, and then lights out will be at 4 o'clock. Thank you for joining me, Charlie. We will see you tomorrow, and have a good evening, and stay safe. Remember to stay safe, follow the rules, stay local, stay safe, and protect the NHS. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.